Hey guys, it's Shannon. Today I thought I would do sort of a little bit of a book review slash discussion, probably more of a discussion than a review really. I'm a big reader and almost a voracious reader, but I don't get to read as much now kind of as an adult. I used to read all the time and I would sit down for hours and read. My schedule now doesn't really warrant it, but I do actually schedule in reading time. So, I will, as I'm scheduling all the things I need to do, I will, it may not be every day, but I will schedule in like a block of time, either like 30 minutes or an hour of time that I can just sit and read. And then I'll kind of look through my schedule again and see when there's kind of a next little empty block of time within the next couple of days, and I will schedule myself some time to be able to sit and read because I really do love it. So I think I'll try to do these. I hope you like them. If you're interested in seeing more of these, for sure let me know, but I'll probably do them regardless of, I have the quietest subscribers, so whether you say anything or not, I probably will do them anyway. So the book I want to talk about today is called You Come When I Call You, and it's by Douglas Clegg. And this is not a new book. As you can see, this is a book that I got from the library. If it's a book that you're interested in, check your library. You probably can buy it online. You may still be able to get it in bookstores. I don't really know. It might be something they could order. But anyway, I'm a fan of new books and old books. And so you'll probably see me talking about all different kinds of things. I like to focus on books that maybe people aren't talking about. So you might not see me talk about the Hunger Games because everybody's talking about the Hunger Games. I'll talk about books that aren't getting as much attention or love, but maybe should, or maybe shouldn't. So anyway, this book, I've read some books by this author before, and kind of the best way I can describe his writing is, if you equate it to movies, he's essentially like a horror movie. His books are kind of written sort of like a horror movie. That's not my favorite style. I don't like horror movies at all, and I don't like blood and gore and things, and his books do get a little bit gory, so I'm going to tell you that in advance. If that's not your thing, this may not be your book. Although I can say that I actually liked this book better than some of the books that I've read by him in the past, because I feel like in the end, sort of the overall moral, or kind of the overall idea of the story kind of at least I felt like it was sort of a positive thought. But anyway, I don't want to tell you too much about the book because I do not want to ruin the book for you guys at all. But I'm just going to say it does have some kind of gory parts, and I also will say about Douglas Clegg, I feel like sometimes he sells himself short as far as his ability to write, in that I think sometimes when he's trying to build fear in you, I don't think he realizes that he can do that just with his words without having to add sort of, the gore to it, or, the really descriptive kind of ickiness. Sometimes I think he just resorts to that because, I don't know, it's sort of easy, and it catches you. I don't want to say it catches you off guard, but it gets sort of right to the point. And I think he sort of sells himself short that way, in that I think he could easily scare people and get them really wrapped into the story without having to go that route. So in a way, I think it's him kind of underestimating his writing ability and selling himself a little bit short, because I think he's an excellent writer, and I think he could make us really scared without having to resort to just kind of the details of gore. So anyway, without telling you too much about the book, because I don't want to ruin it for you, the setting is in Palmetto, California, and there's actually really two different locations, because a lot of the book is kind of set in memory that happened 20 years ago. But essentially, there are sort of four main characters, and they're all kind of tied together, and they've all sort of been tied together since they were, teenagers. And basically, when they were young, they all lived in the same town, and it's kind of a town out in the middle of nowhere. And crazy things sort of start to happen. And the four of them really end up being involved in kind of just this really terrible situation that happens in the town. And essentially, when it's over and done with, there's nothing left of the town. The town ends up being desolate. You know, all of the people of the town are essentially gone. And I don't want to, you know, tell you too much about that, but, you know, it kind of ends up as a desecration. And these four kids are involved in that. And they kind of get taken away, and they're all kind of going a little bit crazy, you know, from it, and they were going a little bit crazy at the time, and they're able to kind of move on with their lives, but they're never really able to move away from it. It's always kind of eating at them, kind of internally. It's sort of whatever drew them to the situation to begin with is always kind of on the edge, kind of in the back of their minds, sort of calling them, which is kind of where the "you come when I call you" sort of, you know, name comes from. And so anyway, fast forward their lives about 20 years, and they're all adults, and they've all kind of gone their own ways. They have built sort of their own lives, and they kind of dealt with the past at the time, and they're sort of, you know, fast forward 20 years. And in their lives, they're all sort of starting to lose it a little bit. There's little things that are happening here and there that are sort of throwing them off edge. It's, you know, interrupting their lives. They're all kind of trying to keep it together, but, you know, they're really actually losing it a little bit, little by little by little. The things that happen to them, it's hard for them to discern between what's real and what's not real. And then there's the question of, are the things that they want to believe are not real actually real? And so it becomes very confusing, and, you know, they don't know what is them and what is something else affecting them, and, you know, it's basically eating away at them. And so they all sort of start to get drawn back into the situation and to the poison that they experienced in the past, and to the desecration again that happened in the past, and you know, it becomes a very frightening situation. It puts them at risk. It puts other people at risk. And it's kind of the whole story is sort of the process of them kind of losing it and sort of having to battle this demonist possession situation that's sort of taking them over. And, you know, of course the fear is that they had this sort of slaughter type situation in the past, and is that going to happen again in the future, and is it already happening? And are they going to hurt the people that they love around them? Are they at risk? You know, is it ultimately doomsday and everybody is going to die in the end? Or is there anything at all that they can do to fix it? But none of them really understand it. You know, it's sort of this call, like they're trying to fight it, and they can't, and it's not a situation that you can really tell anybody about, because people are just gonna, you know, they're just gonna think you're crazy. And what if you're not crazy and you really need to, you know, sort of save the world? You can't get yourself kind of locked up in a loony bin because you tell people that don't believe you, and all that sort of thing. So it is an interesting book. There is some kind of goriness to it. I think that it takes you a while to really sort of get into it and start to appreciate that. You know, if you don't like gore, which I don't, it took me a while to kind of really get into it and appreciate the fact that there was going to be something about the story that I could kind of feel good about. in the end, or that I could relate to, because books that are just about gore and, you know, bad things and all that, I can't relate to them. And I can't relate to books where the main character is, you know, completely, like, The Fight Club is a good example of a book that I just don't like. And I don't like it because, you know, I understand what the point of the book was, but I think the character's a jerk. I think, you know, if you read other books by the author, unless he totally writes completely differently than he is, which I think is almost impossible to do. I think if anybody who writes anything, there's always kind of a core of yourself to it. You know, I think his books are just basically like obnoxious. I think he looks at people as, you know, a bunch of mindless worker bees kind of thing, you know, just an army of ants, and we can't think for ourselves. And there are people like that. I mean, like Fight Club is a good example. There are people who have created, you know, fight clubs because they read about it, heard about it, watched the movie, thought it was cool, and all that kind of thing is, to me, is just stupid. But I think the fact that he sort of just has no respect for humans in that way, and there's just a cockiness about him that I don't appreciate. And so his books, from start to finish, I just don't like them. There's nothing about them that I find redeeming. They start off cocky, they end cocky, and there's really kind of nothing in between. This book is not like that. And I'm sorry that I had to bring that book up and kind of trash it there for a moment, but including the author. Sorry to the author, but that's just my opinion. Not everybody feels the same way I do, so everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That happens to be mine. This book is not that way. There is sort of a redeeming quality to it that I think a lot of people would appreciate. And also, if you are the kind of person who has some spirituality to you, you know, believes in, like, the God and the devil, or demons and angels, or, you know, you just feel like there's, maybe not that you believe in some of those things specifically. I mean, maybe you don't believe that there are actual demons, but maybe you believe that there is kind of, you know, evil and good, and that there's a dark side and a light side to everything, and that kind of thing. If you have that sort of spirituality about you, then I think you will appreciate this book if you do read it. I think that it does kind of overall, it leaves you with an appreciation of positive things in life, and appreciation of being able to overcome evil, and being able to kind of look within yourself and find good in darkness, and sort of that kind of a message in a way. So I think if you have appreciation for that kind of thing, and you can kind of make your way through at least the first half of the book, and not sort of give up on it just because of, you know, there's some parts that are a little bit hard to read. I think by the time you get to the end of it, you will appreciate it, and I think that you will appreciate having read it. It is an entertaining book to read. I mean, there is an entertainment value to it. It's not a book that's hard to read as far as just, you know, hard to understand or hard to follow, or you know, so many big words and long names that you just can't grasp it kind of thing, or it's just too much work to read. It is an enjoyable read as far as that goes. So if you're interested in books, and you're interested in reading something that not everybody is already talking about, like, you know, Hunger Games and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and that kind of thing, and if you want something that's just a little bit different, and or maybe an author that you just haven't heard anything about, then I would give this book a shot. And if you read it, let me know what you think about it below. I hope I didn't ruin too much of it for you, but I really feel like you probably have no idea what it's about, really, still to this point. So I think maybe you get the general idea without me having ruined any of the details for the most part for you. So if you like books, don't forget to click the thumbs up button, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. If you like beauty and fashion and making new friends and just having conversations about things that you enjoy, or talking about sometimes products that or books or movies or what have you that you don't like at all, just to give a forewarning, then please come back, because that's kind of what my channel is about. And don't forget to leave comments if you have. I would like to know what you are reading right now. So tell me in the comment section below what books you are reading right now, and also what your favorite book is, what you would really recommend for me to read, whether it's a new popular book that everybody's talking about or not. I'll read anything. I just thought it would be nice to talk about something that everybody hasn't already covered, so you're not just hearing the same thing over and over again. Okay, and I hope you guys are having a good week, and I will see you next time. Bye.